Welcome to A Styled Life, the podcast for purpose-led female founders and senior leaders ready to use style as a powerful tool for confidence, impact, and influence. I'm your host, Alex Standley, multi-award-winning personal stylist, speaker, and sustainable fashion consultant with 2 decades of experience in the fast-paced world of fashion. Join me as we redefine success from the inside out. This podcast isn't just about clothes. It's about personal power, purposeful style, and creating a life that aligns with your values. So whether you're running a business, leading a movement, or stepping into your next chapter, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into the world of personal style, sustainability, female empowerment, and living with intention through real stories, expert insights, and plenty of inspiration. Welcome to the very first episode of A Styled Life. I'm your host, Alex Standley, personal stylist, TEDx speaker, and sustainable fashion consultant. I help trailblazing women craft a signature style that aligns with their ambitions, their values, and legacy. This podcast isn't about trends or chasing the next thing. It's about showing up as your full self, confident, aligned, visible, and purpose-led. This podcast has been a long time in the making. Honestly, I've had it in my mind for the last 2 to 3 years, so I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I wanted to take you behind the scenes to the real story of why I do this work and what it means to live a styled life. So let's rewind. My career in fashion started with my studies at London College of Fashion, where I studied fashion management. And I did a year in industry as an assistant buyer for Georgia Asda. I was so lucky that I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I left school, and my passion had always been fashion. And as much as that's cliche, I was so lucky to get the opportunity to study at one of the best fashion universities in the world. And unfortunately, during that time when I was 21, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. It really forced me to question everything. I had to slow down for some time, but I pushed through because I was determined not to let illness define me. And I graduated with a first-class honours degree. And through that sheer drive and determination, I built a successful career as a fashion buyer. For 14 years, I worked at some of the biggest global brands like Marks and Spencer and Amazon. I got to travel the world, shopping for trends, selecting fabrics, developing products, and it was incredible. It was literally, as I say, my dream career. I then went on to select product from household names such as Joules, FitFlop, New Look, and Aldo as a buyer on footwear at Amazon. And both of those jobs were incredible. They gave me so much insight, so much experience. Like I said, I got to travel the world. I got to work with incredible brands. But even as I helped shape what was in other people's wardrobes, I didn't feel connected to my own values and my own life anymore. And I started to really question whether the fashion industry was still in alignment with my values. And when I fell pregnant with my daughter was when I started to really think about sustainability in a sense of what am I putting on my body? What am I putting in my body? And I ended up down this complete rabbit hole of research into a more sustainable life. And then my daughter was born and everything just completely changed. And what had once felt really powerful from a career in the industry, like the title, the travel, the perks, no longer felt connected to me. It suddenly felt quite hollow. And I looked at her and thought, what am I teaching her? What legacy am I leaving behind for her future and for future generations? I realised that I had built my career in an industry that thrives on speed, waste, disconnection, and I no longer wanted to be part of it in that way. But I didn't walk away from fashion. I decided to redefine my relationship with it. I had really had such a great opportunity to connect with Emmeline Stevens of the Image Consulting Company when I was very heavily pregnant with my daughter. And she showed me a new way to use all of my lifetime's experience in the fashion industry, but in a much more positive way. So when I was on maternity leave, I took the opportunity to retrain with her as a personal stylist. And not only was it, so exciting because it was, like I said, a new way to utilize all of my skills and expertise, it also transformed my own self-confidence because I had gone through that crisis of identity, becoming a new mum, where I felt like I'd lost my identity and I didn't want to lose the woman that I was before and everything that I'd built. But equally, as I mentioned, my priorities had completely shifted and I wanted to make sure that everything that I was doing was in complete alignment with who I am and the woman that I was becoming, and that it was creating a positive impact for people and planet. So I felt so passionately after doing my training and seeing my own shift and my own transformation about sharing that with other women like me who were professional, values-led, busy, time poor. And I really wanted to help them to rediscover themselves through what they wear. Because really, when your wardrobe aligns with who you really are, it's transformational. It's not just clothes, it's clarity, it's energy, it's embodiment, and it's freedom. That's what I mean when I say a styled life. And that's what this podcast will be about. Each week, I'll bring you strategies, stories, and style education to help you reconnect with your identity, dress for your leadership, not just your lifestyle, and build a sustainable wardrobe that works with your values. If you're ready to feel more like you again and to be seen as the expert you truly are, then let's do this together. This is your time. Let's create a styled life. Thank you for tuning in to A Styled Life. If today's episode resonated, the best way to support the show is to share it with another trailblazer or leave a quick review. And if you're ready to align your style with your next level of impact, head to the show notes to book your free style strategy call. Because when your style aligns with your purpose, the world takes notice.